Planet Dolan.
From sunflowers to cuckoo clocks, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest phobias we have. I'm Pecan, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by VulpixChan757. While she used to love them as a toddler, Mimi developed a fear of balloons popping. It all started when she was 5 years old, and she was blowing up a pink balloon. After blowing it up, Mimi would laugh as she watched it fly all over the living room, making fart noises as it deflated. She did that over and over again. And while blowing up the balloon again, it popped. Her lips were sore and her ears were ringing. After being stunned for a few minutes, Mimi started to cry and her mom came in and tried to comfort her. Since then, Mimi dreads even the thought of popping balloons. If someone is about to pop a balloon, she'll run away as fast as she can. Number 9 was submitted by Jake the Goose. Zaragamba's weirdest phobia is not being able to prove that he's the father of his infant daughter if she ever gets kidnapped. Having watched a lot of creepy videos about strangers kidnapping children, he's afraid that some crazy lady is gonna walk up, snatch his daughter, and he won't be able to convince onlookers that he's the father. In one of the creepy videos he watched, there was a story where the onlookers believed the kidnapper and began to beat up the father. They didn't even call the police. If that ever happened to him, the only things that Zaragamba can think of doing are demanding that someone get the police involved and telling anyone who will listen that his baby is his Facebook profile picture. Number 8 was submitted by Morbus Acura. Derek kept his weird phobia of ice cream a secret up until the 4th of July, gathering with his family. His aunt made an Oreo cookie ice cream cake and was offering everyone a piece. When she offered one to Derek, he slapped the plate out of her hand and started to have a panic attack. At first, his aunt thought he was allergic, but then he pulled her aside and told her of his ice cream phobia. When his aunt asked him why he was so afraid of ice cream, Derek told her that it was because one of his co-workers told him that ice cream was made from melted children. Being gullible, he believed it. His co-worker went on to tell him that if anyone eats ice cream, they'll melt into it. It turned out that his friend had got the idea from a manga by Junji Ito. His aunt tried telling him that it was a bunch of nonsense, but Derek didn't believe her. Number 7 was submitted by Mystic Tulip. Growing up, Tulip had no friends. As a result, she rarely even answered the phone or made phone calls. She got her own phone in high school, but would only use it to talk to her parents. Now, as an adult, her fear of phones is almost jeopardizing her job because a big part of it is calling customers to let them know that their online orders are in. She believes that the big reason why she's so afraid of phones is because, thanks to her anxiety, she's always afraid of whoever is on the other end of the line. Like if they're going to swear from the top of their lungs at her or God knows what. Whenever she makes a phone call, her heart starts racing, her eyes get blurry, and her hands shake. Tulip will stutter so much while talking to customers that it's hard for her to form proper sentences. She hopes that her fear of phones will go away soon. Number 6 was submitted by A Shot of Whiskey. Dolan's fear of horses started back when he was 3, when his mom took him and his sister Ramona to see some horses. While feeding them hay, one of the horses bit Dolan on the arm. The horse lifted him up off the ground and flailed him around before spitting him out. That day left Dolan scarred for life. During his teen years, he tried to get over his fear. One of his aunts owned 2 horses, and during an Independence Day bash with family and friends, he agreed to guide the horse his aunt was going to ride. He was doing okay with the horse until it stepped on his foot and it wouldn't get off. It just stood there, not following Dolan's commands to move. After a while, his aunt came over and got her horse to move. Dolan ran into the house and hid until the fireworks show. Half his foot was purple thanks to the massive bruise that the horse gave him. The weirdest part of Dolan's phobia is that he's a fan of My Little Pony and is even cosplayed as Pinkie Pie. Whenever his friends ask him how he could enjoy My Little Pony and still be afraid of horses, he just tells them that the cartoon horses can't hurt him. Number 5 was submitted by Love Bubbles OC. One day, Melissa went to an amusement park where she went on an attraction that had moving seats, a 3D movie, and wind and water effects. In the movie, patrons took the role of a black cat running around a haunted mansion. At one point, the cat came face to face with an entire wall of cuckoo clocks. Melissa thought she'd poop her pants when the birds started popping out of them. The thing was, though, that the birds were transforming from regular birds to bird skeletons. She was amazed to have made it through the attraction without shitting her pants. So that was the day that Melissa developed a phobia of cuckoo clocks. Number 4 was submitted by Amzazen. James Shark has a fear of going downstairs. Going upstairs is fine with him, but it's going down them that he has a problem with. When he was little, he went into the attic to get something, but when he had to leave, he couldn't. Instead, he sat at the top of the stairs and cried, yelling for his mom to come get him. Another time, at his elementary school, James Shark's teacher asked him to bring something to one of the second grade teachers on the top floor. So he did, but when he had to go back down the stairs, he started to shake and cry. His cries were so loud that a lady from the ground office heard him and went up to see what was going on. She tried to get him to go down the stairs, but he refused. So they ended up taking the elevator. Today, James Shark has gotten over his fear a little bit, but not completely. Number 3 was submitted by I'm a Roach Nom Nom Nom. Salty Squid has a fear of sunflowers. It all started when he was young and visiting his grandma for the 4th of July, along with his older sister. While there, they were picking sunflowers when a yellow jacket came and stung Salty Squid's pinky finger. He raced inside, screaming bloody murder while his grandma rubbed an onion on it. Ever since that day, whenever he sees a sunflower, Salty Squid either runs away or closes his eyes. Number 2 was submitted by Floto McFlutiloo. Pringle has a lot of weird phobias, but the weirdest one is bottles. Specifically, bottles that have screw-on caps or lids. He can use products that come from such bottles, but it disgusts him whenever he sees people leave them with the cap off or the lid open. He also won't drink from bottles unless it's absolutely necessary. In those cases, he'll just pour the drink in his mouth without letting it touch his lips. He thinks he has this phobia because of his strong aversion to saliva, which can stick to the mouths of bottles. He doesn't know for sure though. Number 1 was submitted by Aisha Moore. While he's fine with mirrors in the daytime, Lost Fox has a phobia of mirrors and darkness. He will avoid mirrors at all costs once it gets dark. The phobia stems from the thought of mirrors being linked to paranormal activity. If he looks into a mirror in darkness, his appearance will seem distorted, and he'll be afraid of seeing something that he can't explain. He recently found out that his phobia is actually called spectrophobia. Huge thanks to the folks over on our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What is a weird thing you do when you're bored? Let us know in the Reddit page linked below, and you might be featured in a future countdown. This video was made possible by our fans over on Patreon. Thanks for your support, guys! Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you soon!